Tonight, a Guilford widow is fighting to view pictures from her own honeymoon. You see, her husband died in a car crash on their trip, and she doesn't have access to the pictures saved to his online drive. So she reached out to NBC Connecticut Responds for help. Consumer reporter Caitlin Burchill shows us the difficulty accessing digital assets that aren't yours, even if it's your spouse that dies.
After their picture-perfect wedding day, Caroline and Michael Monroe pinched pennies, saving up for their honeymoon to Ireland in 2018.
It was a dream until it was a nightmare.
Michael was killed in a car crash during their trip.
Michael was 31. We were not planning on a funeral.
5 years after his passing, Caroline surrounds herself with memories made with her late husband, from the pictures around her home to his wedding ring she wears around her neck.
I wear it every day, and every time I hear it, I think of him, and I hope he's with me.
But something's missing.
I remember distinctly on our trip there were some pictures that he took that I never saw. And they just, they're just floating out there in Google.
After his death abroad and Caroline's return to Connecticut, she says a friend uploaded Michael's photos to his Google Drive for safekeeping before they got rid of his phone.
Which we assumed that I would be able to access somehow. I've tried to log into his computer. Apparently I don't know his passwords either.
And now time is ticking for Caroline to get access to these photos. After Google announced it would begin to delete all inactive accounts starting in December.
Finally, I was like, all right, I don't know what to do. And that's when I emailed you.
Even though Caroline is Michael's widow and she has his death certificate and their marriage certificate, Google won't just give her the photos.
While she is the next of kin, there's still the issue of Google having to comply with federal law.
That law is the Stored Communications Act. Quinnipiac University law professor Wayne Unger says, simply put, it was created to protect our online communications. So a computer service or messaging provider used by the public legally cannot disclose our texts, emails, and pictures, for example, unless there's an exemption, like a police warrant. So even though she's his widow, in an email to Caroline, Google says she needs to get an exception through a judge, writing, quote, in order to proceed, a court order is required by U.S. law. We reached out to Google for comment, but haven't heard back.
It, in a way, provides the legal cover for Google in sharing or passing on or disclosing these kind of digital assets.
I know that they're trying to protect his privacy, but these are pictures of me, too.
Robyn Sechler feels for Caroline. She became an estate planner after she struggled to access special memories on a phone after her dad's death.
We generally think about passing on your home or your money or your car, but we don't think about our online life.
She now works for GoodTrust, a one-of-a-kind estate planning tool that creates an online vault of sorts to organize your digital assets and accounts and assign their beneficiaries before your passing. From photos and videos uploaded onto online sites to funds accumulated in peer-to-peer payment apps. Who will know where they are when you die? What about the airline miles you've accumulated? And your financial and social media accounts, too. Sechler encourages people of any age and income to start estate planning so your legacy doesn't get lost.
Nobody wants to think about what happens when they're not here anymore. But the reality is, if we can plan ahead, we're making it easy for our family members.
Another easy step, add trusted contacts to your online accounts so they can take over control after your death. It takes just a minute or two, and most sites have these legacy options. Google does too.
At 30, 31, who thinks to put a legacy thing in?
Caroline is sharing her heartbreak to help others avoid her headache. NBC Connecticut Responds has helped her reopen her case with Google after she became overwhelmed with the process a couple years back. After we reached out to the company, Google connected with Caroline and said it will continue to keep Michael's account until she gets the court order.
There are no more memories that I'm going to have with him. Those are the memories that I have.
And the struggle is still far from over for Caroline. She tells us she's having a really hard time finding a lawyer who wants to help. They tell her it will be costly and time-consuming, too. Now, you can check out our NBC Connecticut app for a list of ways to add legacy contacts to the most popular social media and email sites. For NBC Connecticut Responds, I'm consumer reporter Caitlin Burchill.